Welcome along to another how-to video guide for doing things on your BMW E39 M5. Today we're going to be looking at the air intake and induction system and fitting a cold air intake which removes the OEM filter boxes, and also a air charge temperature relocation system as well. You might be thinking, why do I want to do this? Colder air into your engine, more bang for your buck. And the standard location for the temperature sensor for the air system is located in your passenger side MAF sensor, or driver side in America. And people fit relocation kits using the temperature sensor from other BMWs, E29s, E36s and so on and so forth. And that's all good and well, but it doesn't give the instantaneous response that the MAF sensor temperature sensor gives. So the information that the ECU is getting is delayed by a couple of seconds compared to almost instantly with a MAF sensor. So to combat that, we're going to be reusing a old MAF sensor, and we only want it for 2 pins off this for the temperature sensor part of it inside, and this will give us the correct readings that we need on our ECU. So to start off, we need to remove his front bumper. Mine's still off from doing the oil cooler conversion, but see my previous video on fitting the handman style splitter for removing your front bumper. And then we're going to need to remove the air boxes. Very easy. Unclip them from the MAF sensor, 10mm bolt next to the power steering tank and on the opposite side next to the ABS module. Then it all lifts out in one big unit, leaving you with plenty of space. Parts wise, to be able to do the job, you're going to need a pair of 45-degree angled 80mm internal diameter silicone hoses, one 90-degree 80mm alloy bend, one 60-degree 80mm alloy bend, a pair of high flow K&N universal filters, 80mm coupling, a smorgasbord selection of Jubilee clips and an old MAF sensor. So we'll start off with the MAF sensor. I'm going to be removing this from the housing, so you'll need a security 5-star piece. I think off the top of my head it's a size 20, but we'll come to that when we get the tools out. Once you remove the MAF sensor from its housing, it's a T25 security piece, 5-star. Then we need to mount this into our 60-degree elbow. And to do that, we'll drill a hole to the size of this, which we'll measure with a caliper, and then use a couple of self-tappers in there to secure it in place. And this will then be in the airflow and measure the temperature of the air going past it. We're going to start on the passenger side here in the UK, or driver's side in America. So push your 80mm silicone hose onto the MAF sensor, should be a perfect fit. Then this will allow you to work out where you need to make a slight adjustment to the standard air intake where the cold air feed went into the air boxes. This is because I've got a oil cooler fitted and the hoses run through there. So to do that, we're going to use a hole saw, which is 90mm, and then cut out just a small semicircle to allow us to get the aluminium pipe through. Once you've cut your hole where you need to do it and put your pipe work in, then we can mark our pipe for cutting, as it is slightly too long. So we need to chop it just before the elbow, which will allow us to put his air filter on. So if you pop a mark on, and then you can cut where you need to cut it. Now we've cut our pipe and trial fitted our filter, we can mark out where we need to put our air temp sensor, and this is going to go here. so the sensor body goes in that way, and then we can drill that and secure that into the pipework. And then our front bumper, where we have the front ducting holes here, which are normally for the brake pipes, but on the M5 these are blocked off, we will put a slight bend of plastic convoluted tubing in order to direct airflow into where the air filters are located. Once we've got the MAF sensor mounted inside the metal elbow, make sure that the flow is correct for the direction of airflow. Just inside to the right of the plastic on the sensor is the termistor, and that's what measures the temperature of the air going into the engine. With this being mounted under the bumper out of the engine bay, it will get a true reading of the actual air temperature going into the engine, as opposed to the other relocation kits which mount the sensor just behind the bumper and only read the ambient temperatures. So doing it this way allows the engine to get the correct information so it can optimise fueling and timing correctly for both economy and power. Make sure that all edges have been deburred and that any rubber rings which you've used to seal are clamped tightly, and that all the inside of the housing has been cleaned as well. Once we've done that, we can mount that onto the vehicle and clamp everything up for the passenger side. For the electrical side, on your MAF sensor plug on the passenger side, you need to cut pin number 1 wire, the yellow with a blue trace, then connect that to a new wire, and then also tap into pin number 3, the brown earth wire, and tap into that with a new wire as well. Then these 2 wires will go down to your relocated MAF sensor and go on to pins 1 and 3 respectively. This is then the electrical side of the system complete. Ensure that you leave just enough wire off the cut pin, so if you want to revert back to standard you can do. Make sure all connections are taped, secure and heat shrinked, and solder where possible. Moving on to the driver's side, where the auxiliary air pump is for your emission control system, it's going to be a bit more difficult to fit the air filter here, as the original mounting location for the air pump is there, directly below the hole for the pipework. So you're going to need to relocate your air pump as you see fit. I can't offer any advice on that, as I did this one quite a while ago when I previously had an air filter system, but you're going to have to manage it yourself. Just ensure that when you do, that any pipes that run into the engine bay are secured and clipped out of the way of any moving belts or moving parts. So we'll start off by putting our silicon elbow in, then we can use the 90-degree elbow through here to work out where our filter is going to sit. Once the driver's side air filter is in place, secure everything as you need to do. A couple of cable ties will secure the pipework. Make sure all Jubilee clip connections are tightened up accordingly and that all wires are correctly routed. And that is your induction system fitted. All that's left to do is refit the front bumper, then put in the small ducts from beside the front bumper housing. As you can see here, these are 3.5-inch base ports with the hole drilled through the bumper mesh, and then we will use some flexible piping and run cold air direct to the air filters. So thank you for watching. Hope you find this video informative. Subscribe to my channel for other videos, give this one a like, and any questions don't hesitate to get in touch and I'll do my best to answer where I can. Thank you again.